Hello and welcome to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, and today I'm excited to welcome back Alexa Zappia, an Emmy-nominated casting producer and founder of Rocks of Unity, Eman Wajed, co-founder and director of marketing and public relations at Buffalo Fashion Runway, and Matt Hitch, pop culture enthusiast, musician, and all-around creative at Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Today we're serving up sweet takes on National Donut Day. Did you know it was National Donut Day? We're breaking down music, reinventions from Miley to Katy, diving into the world of competition shows and reality shows, and capping off with summer fashion trends and a look at what makes Buffalo style one of a kind. But first, what are you talking about in your group chats? I feel like Alexa just smiled, so we might need to start with you, Alexa.
No, I mean, on the way here, it was just planning Father's Day brunch. And so I made it like very clear. I was like, we can do Father's Day brunch, but I'm going to yoga at 9:30. So like just so you know. Yeah. And they're like, it's fine. So it was that. It was coordinating what we're making.
Oh, nice.
Stuff like that. So
I didn't know. I always know Mother's Day brunch is a thing, but I feel like you don't like Father's Day.
Well, we usually do like dinner at my mom's, but we have a wedding and my brother's coming in town, so we're doing it the day before instead. So we're going to do it on Saturday instead.
Well, that's a nice reminder to everybody to make plans.
Yes. So add that to your group chat.
Yeah,
that's not already in it. Add that in.
Yeah. Eman, how about you?
My group chats are very boring. All we talk about is, planning events, but recently it's been very emotional. Pride was yesterday, so went to the festival and the parade, so that was fun, but, people like to express themselves, so it was very emotional in the group chats there. And I just got a new camera, so we're talking about, new creation and content with that.
Yeah, what is the deal with this camera? I heard you talking about it before we went on today.
So it's an actual cinema camera. It's a FX30. The one I had before that was 15 years old, and I've been using that for the last 6 months. So my team at BFR gifted it to me to just create, and I put a new lens on it that's 3D printed straight from a film camera.
Wow. Yeah. I can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you.
We'll be following up with that. No pressure. Matt, how about you?
I just dropped out of one group chat that we had here among the employees where we were doing a book club, and they picked the book I already read. I was going to reread it, and I decided against it, so I dropped out of that group chat, and I'm in a group chat with my family who are all from Indiana because the Pacers are in the finals now, so that's a big deal in Indiana.
Yeah, I am a family of Knicks fans, so probably don't need to say anything more about that.
My condolences.
Yeah. My significant other was driving to New York for games, so I know it's been sad moments. The TV just being turned off abruptly.
That's okay.
Superstitions happening in the house, what shirts to wear. So yeah, we're working through that right now. Right. So
we'll end, and then we have that for Bill season. So
yeah, I mean, I guess we're kind of used to it in that respect.
So the cyclical.
Yeah. I know. Well, I mean, people are talking about that now because it's going to be the last year in this stadium.
Oh, yeah.
So
let's do it.
And I mean, King and Queen just got married, Josh and Haley.
Unfortunately, we had to decline our wedding invite, but it's okay.
Yeah, because you were very busy.
Yeah,
you knew that you were going to be doing group chat, so you're like, I
have to do group chat. Clearly,
I have to be ready for that. So. Yes, it is National Donut Day. So for that person in your life that you think needs a donut, you might want to reach out today. There's a lot of local businesses that are, doing different features. But I think my favorite are the Pride crawlers from Public Espresso. Mm-hmm. So, and that it is Pride Month. And supports a local business, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just like a cross between a donut and a croissant, and it's heavenly. So don't buy all of them because I'm gonna want one. But but yeah, National Donut Day today, and then that obviously brings us into some of our main topics today. Music. I mean,
what a segue.
So I think in all of your lives here, everybody in the room, music touches us in somehow. And
100%.
even, I mean, if you're even in the world right now, music affects you. So I know the big discussion around this has been Miley Cyrus and her new album. But before we get into specific artists, what are your feelings on the whole thing around pop stars with it not just being about music? There's a whole, there's eras, personas, there's levels of social media and creating a character.
Yeah.
Well, I think like they're people for one, so they have their opinions on everything from politics to fashion to whatever. So they're going to be voicing their opinions on something. And I kind of like when they show their persona because I'm a big music nerd and I want to know more about them as people as opposed to just listening to their music. I think it kind of helps explain the songwriting and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Is that a package deal now? Do you think that people are, before they're creating the music or as they're creating the music, they're creating their persona? What comes first? Eman's thinking.
It's interesting.
I think the persona and the character evolves. You know, it starts off as, you know, a passion project in a sense, when you create music and, you know, produce. And then it evolves into, you know, what your fans or supporters feel when you create the music and share your music. So I think the persona or the character evolves into, you know, what you want people to see you as, you know, or what you want people to feel when they look at you, because they attribute your looks to your music, you know. So if your music is one type of energy and you look a different type of energy, they may not match. So you need those personas and that energy both to match. So I think it evolves as, you know, you get better and you start producing more and creating. But I think the persona really, you know, matches with the music.
And with your fashion background, how does fashion play into that? Because as you just mentioned, what you see.
I think fashion and music go hand in hand. The same way with art and fashion go hand in hand. They're all just one big, you know, pot pretty much. And, you know, how you express yourself through what you put on yourself, you know, attributes to how you express yourself with your voice or, you know, with your instrument. So I feel like they all go hand in hand, especially even with art. You know, the paint stroke goes with a certain music note, or you know, the way you tie your tie may go with, you know, how you feel that day.
Yeah, yeah. Alexa, you are heavily into your world's mostly as reality TV, but there's a big social media component. There's music involved.
Yeah.
So, what do you think goes into the packaging of these artists, and where does it start?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with knowing who, like, for themselves, knowing who they are, and then evolving, right? Like, it's not human to just stay the same throughout, right?
Yeah.
So not only are you evolving as an artist, but your listeners and your followers are evolving. So, you know, if you think about whoever, right? I'm just going to use this. Jonas Brothers, right?
Yeah.
It's the first thing that came to my head.
I wonder. Yeah. I'm just saying, since Alexa has been on group chat, I follow her on social media, so I have gathered now that she is a Jonas Brothers fan.
Diehard.
And did you just meet Nick Jonas?
I did. Okay. I did meet Nick Jonas 3 times last week. But if you think about, you know, 20 years ago, wow, I feel so old saying that. Like, I was 8. But 20 years ago when they started, you know, it was like a Disney Channel type of thing. And now I feel like, you know, they're doing this 20th anniversary tour, right? And they've grown up with us as we've grown up with them. So this tour, the way I view it, I don't know how they view it, but the way I view it is, this tour is for, like, the OGs, for us who have watched that growth, right? And so I think there's, like, a part of, like, nostalgia with an artist, especially an artist that you've followed for so long. And you've been able to see from, again, taking the Jonas Brothers, their growth from these, like, nobody artists on Disney Channel, right? To growing up with them and watching their growth, and now they're doing 20-year, you know, anniversary tour. So I think, to answer your question, with an artist, right? And social media and how they portray who they are and their story and their growth. I think if you hide it, right, you're not human. But if you're looking at it from the lens of, oh, I just want the world to see like the perfect parts of me, well, then I don't think you can grow as an artist.
Yeah.
Because you're not being vulnerable.
Right. And it doesn't seem genuine. And I think that's really easy to pick up on now since you have exposure to so many artists and you can see
social media.
Yeah.
Your whole life is portrayed on social media. And so like I think on social media, it's your highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's your highlight reel that people compare to their background footage. So if you're able to give us a sneak peek or sneak preview into your background footage, I think as an artist or as any actor, anybody, you're a lot more successful because you show the imperfect sides.
Well, I mean, what all of you have mentioned too is that human element I think we forget about an artist. We have these expectations and as humans we change. We have eras as humans. And then, we're so critical if there's an artist that we've, grown up with or that we know and we're like, oh, we want them to do what they did 10 years ago. And you're not necessarily the same person you were 10 years ago.
Very true.
Especially like, as she mentioned, Jonas Brothers and Miley Cyrus, they grew up in the spotlight on TV. I think we could probably all like say that growing up alone is difficult, like going through adolescence and changing and getting hormones and just growing and all that stuff. That's hard. And then when you're like in the spotlight constantly, and we probably made so many dumb decisions as like teenagers or whatever, and they're doing it like on social media because that's around all the time now and in the spotlight. It's got to be like hard to say the least, I would say, to like grow up like that.
Yeah. Can you think of artists, and you don't have to name specific artists, but do you ever see maybe eras of artists or transformations or maybe something that seems forced or doesn't land?
Drake.
I remembered a lot of reasons why I loved you, but and how so? What are the things that you think of or that you can remember?
He's another one who's been in the spotlight for however long. Through all of his years, growing up. But you would start to see, like, I was a Drake fan when, if you're reading this, you're too late. That was my first album I downloaded from Drake and the last. But, like, I feel as if everything after that point, he played into trends too much, I feel as if. And the persona, the character was more so like, an actor or a TV star, so to speak, not really a real person, so to speak. And I feel as if, that's what Kendrick Lamar called him out on. And there's so many eras to Drake, and none of them land.
Well, does it go back to that you have to be genuine?
Very
like
genuine.
Yeah.
And I just, you can hear it in the music. Like, even down to, lyrics and styles is stolen from so many other people who are popping in that certain time or certain year. Like, each album that he drops throughout the year, they attribute to what's popping. I remember one album he dropped, I think it was Scorpion, and that's when Party Next Door started going, popping, and you feel him playing off of his sound. Or when Fabio Foreign was popping, that's when he was popping off of his sound too. So I feel as if that character, that actor, is trying to stay relevant, so to speak.
Yeah.
He's very relevant, of course, but you don't feel the realness anymore, and that's what people are starting to realize, and that's why he's starting to cancel some tours.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think, what you were even saying earlier, that kind of fits that, just not feeling a genuine
authenticity.
Yes.
Huge.
If you're just joining us, welcome to Group Chat. I'm Bentley, and I'm joined by Alexa Zappia, Eman, Wajed, and Matt Hitch. We are talking about music and artist reinvention and eras. The conversation started this week because of Miley Cyrus has a new project. She just dropped her 9th studio album, and there is a companion cinema movie piece. And she's getting a little bit of criticism for being a little too maybe out there on this album. But she has also had artistic eras. And she's not Hannah Montana anymore, right?
No.
Right, Alexa? Like, as you were just explaining with your Disney stories, like, she is a person.
She is a person.
Yeah.
And she's not a television character. Mm-hmm. But for us, of course, she'll still be Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like anything she does, there's usually some sort of like, oh, it wasn't this, or you didn't do this, or it's not Party in the USA, or it's not, you know.
Best of both worlds.
Right. Now, but with that, also doing the movie, are we at a time in pop culture where it's not just about putting out music? Do you think that these things are necessary? And who did Taylor Swift sort of set the precedent for this? And is it something that's almost, it's a kind of a huge lift? Is it unattainable, or do artists feel a pressure now to do all these elements?
I mean, here's the thing. A movie aspect for her, I mean, it's definitely rare, but she's done it before. She did like the Hannah Montana movie where it was like all her music, you know what I mean? It was like a movie with music to it. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand what the disconnect is. Like, why did it hit then and not now?
Yeah.
Unless it's that need to criticize. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Or it's that we're getting older, or the fans of Miley's are getting older. And now it's like, oh no, we want the straight format that we've been getting from every other artist we listen to. But like, I don't know why now it's any different.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, she's got some collabs on this album. Like, she's got a Brittany Howard collaboration, and she's getting into that, you know, alternative world a little bit. And, you know, Taylor also did that too, because she did songs with The National. And, again, this is a person, this is an artist. You know, not that long ago, I mean, I guess it was a while ago now, like, Miley was hanging out with Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips. Yeah. You know, like, I'm not surprised by any of this. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but so do you think these things are reinventions or refinements of a persona? So do you think that they're doing it out of necessity, or somebody saying, okay, you need to figure this out? Or is it a natural progression?
I think, given that it's her 9th studio album, it's just interesting to try something new. She's not the first person to do this, and there's been other artists who have like made film companions with their music, but it's something different than just getting a record, and it adds a little excitement to it. I mean, the movie's premiering tonight. We don't know what it's like. I don't think there's a storyline to it from what I read. Mm-hmm. It's just basically like a series of music videos. Mm-hmm. Mm. But I think it's good for artists to like explore like multimedia things. Like Bjork put out a record called the App Album, where each song was interactive, like with an app. And I know Nine Inch Nails did a thing where they like, prior to releasing the album, they were selling merch, and there were all these clues, like there were highlighted letters in their merch that would take you to websites. Yeah. That would give you clues. And I think one of the clues, it turned it into like a alternative reality game that people were playing. And one of the clues led people to like this resistance meeting. And it turned out to be a secret Nine Inch Nails concert. Which I think
that's
is
cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
I think things like that, just adding an element of not just putting on a record, like adding something to it to make it interesting, especially these artists who are on like their 9th, 10th album or whatever. It's
you have to do something, right? You have to do. They probably feel like they have to do something different. We're going to get into strategy and a little gaming in just a little bit, but it wouldn't be a group chat discussion if we didn't bring up Drake and Kendrick again. You know, you mentioned Drake earlier, Eman, and do you think that whole, you know, the Drake Kendrick battle drew attention to Drake and maybe some of the stuff that felt unauthentic?
I think it was more so that Kendrick Lamar is someone who's very like, because I've been a fan of Kendrick for as long as I can remember. He's someone who's very in that Andre 3000 realm where they're out of the picture, so they're not really tethered to the industry in a sense,
Yeah.
right? So him calling Drake out was sort of an access for other people to just get rid of that tether, so to speak. Drake is a powerful field. So if you're someone who opposes to that powerful field, you may not get the same, acquaintances, or you might not get the same connections, or you not get the same success because he's such a powerful person, and everyone, sort of respects him as an artist and as someone who's a public figure. So for Kendrick to call Drake out, it was more so like, okay, yeah, true. And now someone has said it, and now it's more so like, all right, do we keep going in this Drake path, or do we, pursue, our other means of creation? Because Drake was sort of just, that powerful force where you didn't want to say anything to that powerful force,
Yeah.
And when you're at that head, you don't really want to go at the head,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you brought up Andre 3000 too, who,
Yeah.
I mean, he can just do what he wants at this point, right? Like, if he wants to play the flute, if he wants to play the piano, and even if he got criticism, I don't think it would even matter. Like,
Exactly.
he's doing his thing and very authentic as well,
100%.
I don't ever feel like anything's a gimmick with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he did wear a piano on the red carpet.
That was a statement. I think that was a perfect way to promote the album.
Okay.
Like, a perfect way.
All right, I needed your take on that as the fashion person.
So like, I'll say like the outfits at the Met Gala, some hit, and then some like I don't think some people understood. The actual reason. They were there.
They didn't get the assignment
at all.
Yeah.
At all. I say my favorite outfit was Lauryn Hill for sure.
Oh yeah.
She wore.
I mean, she's another one you can talk about.
Yeah.
Just always speaking her truth. She's not going to let anybody tell her how to handle her career
100%.
or what to do.
100%.
I know that, Katy Perry's also been in, I feel like she's kind of an easy target right now just because of, going in space. But I don't know who advised her to do that. But I just feel like it's kind of like you kind of want to close your eyes and just be like, what?
Who is your PR director?
I know.
I have so many questions.
I just,
So what's the tea?
I think she's just trying too hard, right?
Yeah.
And I think like the harder she's trying, the worse it's getting. And yeah, I don't know that anybody can connect. I think it's hard for people to connect with somebody that just, went into space. Like,
Yeah.
when there's so many things going on in the world.
It
And
just seemed like bad timing too. Like,
Yeah.
if you were going to do that, just the political climate and everything, it just wasn't a well timed out trip.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was a good idea at any time, but
No.
like, particularly this time, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
not-
calling themselves astronauts too on top of that was just like,
And, I mean, the last album didn't really land well. No pun intended. But again, I guess it's just if you connect it back to authenticity, I mean, maybe I think that's the disconnect to begin with, and then
yeah.
you had a space trip and somebody thought that was a good idea. I'm just like,
Add that to your resume.
would you? Well, Alexa, with all the things that you're involved with, the multiple layers, you sort of wonder how things got to that point.
I mean, that is like throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping it sticks to like the next level. Like that's like, let's take the craziest idea anyone's ever thought of and let's do it. And maybe we'll get people talking. It's like, not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
What's happening?
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation, but we're getting into the world of reality TV, strategy, and competition shows. Don't go away. Group chat on BTPM NPR. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us again on Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, and I'm joined by Alexa Zappia, an Emmy-nominated casting producer and founder of Rocks of Unity, Eman Wajed, co-founder and director of marketing and public relations at Buffalo Fashion Runway, and Matt Hitch, pop culture enthusiast, musician, and all-around creative here at Buffalo Toronto Public Media. So, Matt, you did mention when we were talking about musical artists in that last segment and a strategy game around a Nine Inch Nails album, and it seems that strategy is a thing that draws people in.
Yeah, it really did. It was like a whole concept album. It was supposed to be like a post-apocalyptic environmental thing. I think it had a lot to do with the environment. It's called Year Zero. But
Yes, yeah.
they had everybody playing these alternative reality games, which, to be honest, I'm not familiar with that world. I understand what it is, but I don't know anything about it. But there were all these clues. People were going down these rabbit holes on the internet to find out. And then they were also leaving USB sticks in random bathrooms, which I thought was so wild. Like Nine Inch Nails, like who? I'm sure it's like some of their people or whatever. But the USB sticks would have songs on them with images embedded that were on the album that wasn't released yet. And as I mentioned earlier, it led a bunch of people to this meeting that was supposed to be a resistance thing. And Nine Inch Nails ended up playing a secret show. And then they had not secret police, but fake police is what I mean, come and raid it, do a fake raid, but the audience didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. Like I wasn't in any part of that, but I heard about it as it was happening.
Yeah.
I was just fascinated with it. I was like, this is like, I've never heard of anybody releasing an album this way. And it's just a really interesting concept.
Yeah, there is a fascination around games and strategy, right? Alexa,
Yes.
you have been involved in a lot of reality shows, a lot of casting shows, but there does seem to be a strategy gaming trend.
Yeah.
And yes, as I mentioned earlier, I do follow Alexa on Instagram. So you've been involved in Squid Game, also casting for the Golden Ticket.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about these types of strategy shows and the draw for them and what makes them exciting?
Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, well, it's two things, right? It's a twofold thing, in my opinion. A, it's like an escapism thing. Because you are literally put in to the whatever show it is, Squid Game, the challenge, whatever it is, right? You're put into it, and it's funny because even me, like I'm in casting, and I'm like, oh my God, why did this person do this? And I'm like, okay, I couldn't have done that. Like what?
Yeah.
What? Like, so I think we always want to see how we would do in the show. So I think there's like that attraction of like, oh my God, they went left, I would have went right. Like what?
Yeah. That's like me yelling at a Bills game. Like I would have done any better.
Exactly, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, then put you on the field and you're like,
Yeah.
oh wait, never mind, they can take over. Like it's not. So I think that's part of it. But I think, with all these competition shows, it's not, I don't say for all of them, but majority of them, right? It's not just one sort of strategy. It's not just a physical game. It's not just a social game. It's all of them and how well you balance all of those elements, right? The physical game, the social game, the mental game, all of that. Because if you're lacking in one or more, you really can't get to the end. And a lot of these shows too, some of them are individual, but really a lot of them are, yes, you yourself are getting to the end, but you can't get to the end yourself. And once you like shed that ego a little bit and you're like, okay, who can I make alliances with to get me further? Then you really, quote, winning the show, right? Because then it's like, okay, I figured it out.
Yeah.
But if you go in all like, oh, I can do this myself, it's not that big of a deal, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Plus you're making enemies.
Yeah, you're
So
making enemies the
yeah.
whole way through.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Eman, you are a fashion person. You're a visual artist, photographer. How have reality shows changed the game in that world, the visual world?
I would say, for one, it definitely provided a platform for, designers to, dress people or, give a certain light to their creation, but also just in the way we perceive people. I think personalities and how they can be shown through video or through photos. I haven't really watched much reality TV show because I'm in my own reality TV show.
Yeah. Well, we should. It's funny. I was sitting here a lot, like looking at you two sitting across the table, and I was like, I wonder. Alexa's like, I gotta figure out. Gotta
figure this out.
Gotta figure this out.
But to your point. And I know you saw that picture of me and Nick Jonas the other day. He was wearing a green tracksuit. Like, nothing was special about it. It was a green tracksuit. The first thing that went in my head was, he looks like he just came from Squid Game. Because that is what I associate now with a green tracksuit and a number on it. So it's like how you take these trends from TV, as you're saying, and putting them into regular everyday culture. It's just a guy in a green tracksuit. Like, it's not that big a deal. We've seen it all over the place. But now... And I don't know if it's just me because I watch it, me because I work on it, whatever. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw him was, oh my God, it's this tracksuit from Squid.
Like, oh no, he's going to start eating or have to duck or something.
Yeah, right. Like, so fashion it's so prominent in these shows, and we're consuming it without even realizing we're consuming it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
Well, and look at early reality TV. This is you gotta think back a long time ago to The Real World, which was that the first reality show?
Yeah, if not the first, I think one of the first.
I think that's a lot of people said MTV had this huge influence on pop culture, and then they stopped playing music, and everybody's like, oh, they lost their influence, but I feel like they had a huge influence once they stopped playing music because they switched to reality shows. And to me, that seems like that's when it all opened. They had The Real World, Jersey Shore, and all these kind of lowbrow, I guess, reality shows
Real
where
World
you get
Jersey Shore. I don't know if I would jump that. That was 92 too. When was Jersey Shore? I feel like things started to get a little extreme when Jersey Shore came out. That was theatrical. Yeah, I guess Real World was too.
And then all the musicians, because they're some of them, I'd say their careers were kind of petering off a bit. They the Osbournes got a reality show. And these weren't competitions, but I feel like it created a competition between musicians because once Ozzy did it, then Gene Simmons had one, the guy from Poison had one. And
wait, what was that one? The dating one. What was it?
Bret Michaels.
Rock of Love.
Yeah, Rock of Love. Yeah. So it seemed to be a competition.
I'm glad I missed that whole era.
Yeah. My introduction to reality TV was WWE.
That is an interesting take.
Take.
Yeah, for sure. WWE, Pimp My Ride, MTV Cribs.
Oh, yeah.
MTV Cribs. Okay. Listen, that needs to come back, Alexa, if you have any, in your world.
I loved Cribs.
Architectural Digest is now doing a YouTube series, and I think they're putting some on TV where they're having celebrities show their homes they feature them. Lenny Kravitz just did one for Architectural Digest, and yes, I subscribe to the magazine because I'm a nerd, but now they're putting them on video form, and it is a lot like Cribs. Cool. And then you hear their personality, and they show. So I'm like, this is Cribs. Yeah. This is what we want.
So
you know.
Cool. I gotta watch that. That is so cool.
But you get to see. As we were talking about before, you get to see what's behind the artist. Mm-hmm. Their personal life, the design that they choose. I mean, yes, they have the money to do that, but also it's pretty interesting to see what's in people's houses.
Yeah. I mean, it makes you feel like the ultimate, VIP. It's not. Sure. I mean, you and 5,000 other people, but for you to be in that exclusive, I am taking a tour of Lenny Kravitz's home. Yeah. Yes, it's for public consumption, but you feel so special that you have that. And I think that's why it's so attractive.
Yeah.
Even things like vlogs too. Especially on TikTok or YouTube, vlogs are really important. And I think reality TV has even shaped the way we view vlogs, being involved in that person's life in the background and behind the scenes. Leon Thomas has this crazy tour that he's on right now. And he has 3 episodes out right now. And it's basically just a vlog of his transition from, being a TV star to being a upcoming artist, and people viewing him as just an artist rather than an actor. So reality TV, that's my reality TV.
Well, and do you think that that's what paved the way for everything that we're seeing now on social media with the vlogs and the TikToks and all the behind the scenes stuff? Did reality TV help to start that? Or show there was a want for it?
I would say.
Yeah, it's just, as we were talking about earlier, like understanding the personas of the artists when you're seeing their home and seeing that they might collect like some weird toy or whatever. It makes them more human than just like somebody that you hear on the radio or whatever. So, and then with the rise of social media, we could like have total access to them all the time. So,
well, it can also have the opposite effect, right? Because I remember watching somebody's, I think it was like John Stamos or something, because I got caught in the like YouTube loop of all of them.
Love that.
And
The black hole.
Yeah, and I just couldn't stop watching them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's weird that John Stamos has that in his house. I was like, Uncle Jesse, why do you have that?
I love it.
So, Alexa, when you are casting and looking for people for some of these roles for reality TV, what are some of the things you look for? How do you find people?
Yeah.
What is your process?
Yeah. So honestly, and I always say this, and it's kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier. If you are authentic, that's what viewers want to see. They want you to be you. I'm not looking for a certain anything.
Yeah.
I want you to be you.
Yeah.
So just be you. And it's as easy as that. Just be you and own your story. This is me. Love me, hate me. This is me.
Right.
And I think that is what is successful.
Yeah. Because I think too, even on social media, there might be a tendency to think, oh, this is what people want. And Eman kind of touched on it before when you were talking about some of the trends that artists try to hop onto, and then it just seems inauthentic. And the way trends change so quickly, you might be casting for a show and then the trend changes the next day. So if you're casting or choosing people based just on trends,
100%.
pretty fleeting, right? And I'm sure that happens in your world too with fashion, Eman, or when you're doing public relations for these types of things.
Cast couple shows are an interesting thing for sure.
Yeah. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, here with Alexa Zappia, Eman Wajed, and Matt Hitch. I know we've talked about the creative side to reality shows, but how do you think it feels for these people once you kind of get that adrenaline rush of getting the attention, but then you are filmed your life, especially the people that are filming their lives every day, like the Kardashians, or how do you think that then changes, or do people start to become obsessed? Is it hard for them? Like, how do you think that goes?
I mean, I think we're our own worst critics, right? And so when you get into any one of these shows, like the Kardashians, right? I'm sure the first time they shot a season, it was like, okay, the cameras are here, okay, whatever. And now it's just like, oh, okay, the cameras are here. You know, so it becomes just
Part of their life.
Part of your lives, right? To just be a part of that world. But then with that, it takes a really thick skin to be in this industry. Because even though you may be confident, like, words hurt. And people are always, they're more apt to telling you what's wrong or what they think is wrong than what's right. And they're more than willing to criticize you than applaud you. And so, yeah, it's easier said than done when you say to people, oh, don't look on Reddit, don't look on social, don't look in your comments. Well, you're only human too, and it's coming on your feed. And so it's like, how do you not take that negatively? And you can be so confident, but the hardest part about this industry is, although you may be so used to having the cameras around, that's 5% of it. The rest of it, the 95% of it is how other people react to that. And so you have to, being in this industry is not just filming.
Yeah.
It's so much more than that.
And that is interesting, especially now with just people having access and being able to immediately comment on things and immediately talk about things and immediately troll things. And even if you're not trying to look at comments, one of your friends is saying like, oh, did you see that on Reddit? Or, you know. So yeah, I didn't really think of it in that aspect as much, that it is way more than just being filmed.
I mean, I think 25 years ago, it was probably just being filmed. I mean, even then, people are sending like hate emails. It's just different now than, you know, but like, you know, that now, especially with social media and TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, you know, it's hard. It's hard. And this industry is not for the weak.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, do you think people get a little more obsessed when there is that conflict, or there is the, I don't know, when they see the tea?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like everybody is happy to tear somebody down, unfortunately. Like everybody, I know, like the Osbournes, the kids growing up, they grew up on TV. And Kelly, I know she was like gaining weight and people were commenting on that. And then the son, I forget his name, but anyway, he got addicted to some drugs or whatever, and was going through all that. So they're going through their personal thing, growing up on TV. And then they have Ozzy as their dad. And so, like, it is definitely a harsh thing to live through, I think, when you're on film, like, all day, all the time. And to what, like Alexa said, like, the first season, they were probably more conscious of the cameras being around, but then you kind of forget about them and you start to be yourself. And then sometimes you want that part of yourself to be the private part that people don't see, but you sort of let loose and... maybe like public knows more about you than what you intended.
Yeah.
I also think it's a thrill. The dopamine rush you get when you get immediate reaction, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, is it provides an adrenaline rush almost. Like, you know, even taking it to the next level with streaming, like people who stream 24 hours now, you know, celebrities like Tyga, Kai Cenat, DDG. So that immediate reaction from, you know, any interaction you have with people is just, I think it provides that thrill for people as well.
Yeah, so like even if it is bad, they're watching and they're reacting and they're paying attention. Yeah. So yeah, I could see that also being somewhat...
Being able to manipulate perspective is a very, very thrilling thing, I would say.
So even when it is a reality situation, there are ways to show a persona maybe that you want to be shown.
For sure.
So even these like 24-hour streams, do you think you see that? Can you call it out, or can you notice when you start? Do you wear that? Like, do you really wear that to bed?
Yeah.
Do you really look that good when you leave the house?
I think it's more it's harder, I think. Yeah. Because like, you know, that character that you have or that you put on is seen 24/7. Yeah. So like you have to keep that 24/7. So I think it's more grueling when you know, have to put on a face rather than, you know, being authentic. So the people who put on that face, you know, won't last. Yeah. And people who are more authentic will last because they're authentically being themselves, and it's not, you know, a grueling thing to be themselves.
Just be yourself. Yeah, you're not acting.
There was a whole... I don't know if you guys watch Real Housewives. You probably don't. You said you don't watch reality television. But, Real Housewives, and one of the women on Real Housewives is Erica Girardi, and she's going through this public divorce, whatever. And she was seen in just a paparazzi sent out picture of her getting gas, and she had like an oversized T-shirt on, no makeup, whatever. And the headline was, Erica Girardi looks depressed amid divorce, and she's like, guys, I was getting gas. Like, I don't have full glam and hair and makeup and to get gas. Like, I was pumping gas.
Good
like,
getting gas.
I'm human, right?
Yeah.
But that was such a thing of like, oh, she looks awful, and it's like she's getting like honestly, if she was in full glam getting gas, I'd be like, oh, you okay? Yeah. So you know, and it's just like, why are we so negative? Like, just be kind. Like, okay, or don't comment. The poor woman's getting gas and she's getting like
lose situation.
Yeah. Right.
That's
right. Exactly.
As soon as I get home from here, I like put pajamas on for the day. Like I'm not doing anything else. So.
Like if we weren't on video now for group chat, I would probably be in sweatpants. But The other part of that is then the pressure of people that are in, content creation or, working for websites or social media where they constantly have to get content around what's being talked about. So if the Real Housewives, if she's being talked about, it's like, how can we find something that we can post about her? Well, let's follow her around. Oh, she looks like a hot mess right now. Let's post that photo. Oh, she's just getting gas. Oh, okay. But it's
the headline.
It's the headline.
It's of what and that word, like looking depressed as getting whatever, amid divorce. Like it has nothing to do with her getting gas, but it's the way that they phrase the headline. So it's like clickbait. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, what does Erica Jane, or her stage name is Erica Jane, Erica Girardi, look like now amid divorce? And then you open the picture and it's her getting gas. And you're like, poor woman. Like, God.
I'm depressed every time I get gas.
I wait till the last possible second. So usually I probably look like a hot mess because I'm probably about ready to run out of gas because I just don't like to get out of my car. I'm like, when are they going to figure out there's so much technology now for me to not have to get out of my car?
That's a group chat segment. That's like that is a beginning segment. Where are you on your gas level?
Oh, God. It's like phone battery. And I'm an adult now, allegedly, and I will still run. And I have a hybrid, so I have a charge possibility. I have gas, and and I'm a mom, and I will still be running on fumes. It'll say 5 miles left, and I'll be like, oh, I can make it home. I'm only 2 miles.
I know. I have the same thing, how many miles I have left. I'm like, I can do a few things before I get gas.
See, we would all look the same in reality shows.
I could pass a gas station, too.
Where I won't go below a half.
Oh.
Well, you know what? And
you're an adult then.
Yeah.
Well, you would possibly be judged for your fashion choices, too. And so,
absolutely.
Now you can't get out of your car.
Half the time I'm leaving and I'm going from spin or hot yoga and I look disgusting. First of all, don't even get near me. I probably smell. And then I'm pumping gas. No, please.
Nope. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about fashion trends. Hey, listen, we can work in what you wear when you're pumping gas too. Anything goes here on Group Chat. Fashion flashbacks, TikTok trends, indie sleaze, which I'm hoping Eman can maybe explain that a little bit. We'll get into what everybody's wearing this summer. Group Chat on BTPM NPR. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, with my guests Alexa Zappia, an Emmy-nominated casting producer and founder of Rocks of Unity, Eman Wajed, co-founder and director of marketing and public relations at Buffalo Fashion Runway, and Matt Hitch, pop culture enthusiast, musician, and all-around creative at Buffalo Toronto Public Media. So we started the Group Chat today talking about National Donut Day and our love of, let me rephrase that, my love of the crawlers from Public Espresso, and they have a Pride crawler this month. So our executive producer, Lynn Bader, just came through with some of those crawlers here. So we're going to have to sit here and look at these donuts this whole segment. I think we decided against not trying to eat them while we're talking, right?
But
there's going to be frosting in the mic. Whoever uses these mics, I would be like, what happened here?
So if you feel inclined to eat them, then go for it. Okay. And this is, we are on camera. You can see this on YouTube.
Reality TV.
Want to.
Yeah, reality TV.
Yeah, let's see how long. Actually, it's kind of like a Squid Game.
I was going to say, this is literally Squid Game.
Trying to figure out who's going to go.
Yeah.
Who's going to go first. I don't know.
So good.
Look at Matt's already
He's
sticking his face in there. All right, well, they're there if anybody wants them, and this will be just a social experiment right now.
And if you guys win, you guys can go on Squid.
Alexa's taking mental notes.
You can withstand the challenge.
So I think it's interesting now. We're going to go from donuts to talking about summer fashion trends, because this is the time of year I'm like, oh, I got to wear a bathing suit now. I mean, I don't know. The way the weather's been, I don't know if we're ever going to get into summer fashion.
What is going on?
I feel like maybe we can talk about this in August. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are some of the summer fashion trends you're seeing when people actually get to wear them? Are you seeing anything in Buffalo, Eman? Anything you're excited about?
I'm seeing a lot of jorts and tank tops.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of jorts and tank tops and a lot of denim still, which can be repurposed into whatever anyone wants to make them. I've even seen a denim tank top actually in Buffalo. It's weird.
You saw a denim tank top?
Yeah, outside, downtown.
So this is what you're seeing people wearing. Is this on trend with fashion trends other places? Or are we just confused because we don't know how to dress because of the weather?
Everything comes down to internet. Everything's come down to internet.
Yeah.
I think internet right now is in a space of people just turning things into other things, and denim is very easy to utilize for sure. So,
and denim won't go away
at all.
No, it's all
at all.
So, are you saying like in terms of repurposing?
Yeah,
denim is
for sure
versatile.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
And vintage denim will always be a thing. All right, who can talk about indie sleaze? Supposedly, I think when we talk about fashion making a comeback, certain fashion trends making a comeback, I think things are always cyclical, like something's always coming back. And like Kate Moss sort of like kind of really established that, putting indie sleaze at the forefront when she was a model. I mean, she still is a model, but like in her heyday. So, I mean, what do we think about some of these fashion trends that come back? What makes them come back?
I think everything is cyclical, honestly. Even down to hairstyles, like everything just always comes back.
Yeah.
So even with cameras, like people are loving the VHS look and the camcorder look now, and people are getting back to film and Super 8 and all of that stuff. So I think everything is cyclical. So it's really about who can hop on them and who can show them the best.
Yeah.
And get everyone else back in tune with that trend, So the why is sort of someone felt compelled to try and go against the grain, and it stuck,
So there's an authenticity in fashion too.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Everyone is different in their own right, and your personality shows through, portrays what you put yourself, what you put on yourself, and there really is just all about expression. And even the top designers want you to make your own clothes, rather than buying their clothes. Because that's what it really is about, providing that community and that space to just be yourself.
Yeah. Alexa, how does fashion play into your worlds, even when you're making casting decisions and maybe in the finished product?
I think it's more so like after the fact, right?
Yeah.
It's once they get on TV and you see, they become influencers, they become this. And so it's like if they have a certain style that, I don't know, maybe is, quote, out of style, but you see that whoever wearing it, it's like, oh, XYZ on this show is wearing this. Oh, wait, I love that person. I have to find a style like that.
Yeah.
So again, it's like kind of what I was talking about, the Nick Jonas and Squid Game garb, which wasn't that at all. It was, you know what I mean? It was just a green tracksuit, but it's like you're consuming fashion without realizing you're consuming fashion. And so I think that is the most important thing with these shows, is that it's not just watching it and then the show's over and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like now you follow them on social media, you follow them on TikTok, you see what they do in their day-to-day lives. And so it's so much more than just TV. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
That goes on a bumper sticker.
I was just going to say, that was a great line.
Thank you.
Trademark that.
Yeah. Trademark that.
And, even as we were talking about musical artists too, I do feel like, and maybe because I just follow music so closely, which Matt, you can probably relate to this, is I do feel like there's usually a connection too between music genres,
fashion,
and style and fashion.
I feel like the indie sleaze thing, I was like reading in Vogue, I guess that it just looks like rock and roll to me. I don't know. And I'm happy that it's coming back, because maybe then I'll be in style again or something. I've just been dressing the same for like 20 years. So hopefully I just come in and out of fashion every 5 years or something. like that. But yeah, it just kind of looks like a rock and roll punk type thing to me. So I see like in my TikTok feed anyway, like all the fashion stuff is like, how can you wear black all year round during the summer? Like, because that's pretty much all I wear, and I get caught in these like goth or rock and roll feeds or whatever, and it's like, just cut your black shirt up so you have less shirt, basically. So that's usually my fashion feed is like, how can I survive the summer?
Eman, because you are involved with fashion, do you have people asking you for fashion advice?
Oh my goodness. A lot of the time. Like fashion advice, how do I style this, that, but I don't even think I'm like that person he's a fashionable guy, you know?
Yeah.
I just wear what's comfortable to me, you know?
But that's what makes you fashionable, you know? Like, you're you. And I think even what Alexa was talking about with, you know, reality TV and just seeing people that are who they are, I think that if somebody's who they are and they're wearing something that's them and they wear it because that's why they want to wear it, that's attractive. You know, you're attracted to authenticity. So what do you tell people when they ask you for fashion advice?
I would just, you know, I would ask them, are they comfortable with themselves? Because it goes more to how they view, people view them. You know? Are you someone who wants to be out and about and express yourself overly? Or do you want to be someone who's, you know, more reserved or, you know, stuff like that. So it depends on, you know, how you want people to perceive you. So if you're someone who's, you know, maybe, you know, behind the scenes, maybe you want to be, you know, more drawn back and reserved with your outfit. But if you're someone who's bold and boastful, by all means, you know, just go out, wear all pink.
Yeah.
That's why I wear all black, so I just fade into the background.
Maybe that's my problem with when I try to wear pink. Maybe because I just like to be in the background. Yeah. I'm like, I want to like pink for myself. In case you're just joining us, you're listening to Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, here with Alexa Zappia, Eman, Wajed, and Matt Hitch. We are, you know, diving into summer fashion for as much as we can, with it not really being summer or feeling like it's summer. So how do you think that the weather in an area affects that culture or you know, or I guess now there's not as much of an access issue because you don't really need to have a store here to be able to, you know, buy things. But yeah, how do you think climate affects and geographic?
I think
area.
Buffalo is about layers. You got to just be prepared for the, like just that Pride last Sunday. I had a T-shirt on and a hoodie, and I'd have the hoodie on, then I'd take it off, then I'd put it back on. It seemed like the sun would pop out and then go away. So I think layers is the key to surviving in Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, I woke up this morning, it was 52 degrees, and it's going to be 80s today. Like, what do you wear for that? For a 40-degree, like, different? Like, what?
Well, and then, you know, you go into, if you are in a building all day working and it's supposed to be like 80, then the air conditioning is like blasting. So you need to like bring a sweater. So I think it's like, what do you wear?
Layers. Layers. Be comfortable and wear layers.
Yeah. I wore a short sleeve turtleneck shirt the other day because I was just like, I don't want to do this right now. It's raining, and I thought I put that away in my winter clothes, but no, it's here, so I'm wearing that
because it's still winter. But this is why, right? This is why I'm such an overpacker because this is the key. That's the key. Everyone is on me because I'm such an overpacker. Live in Buffalo and then tell me you're not an overpacker.
No, you have to plan for every scenario.
I absolutely have to be.
Rain gear, snow gear.
You need options of each one of those because you don't know your mood of the day. No, I went to New York last weekend for 3 days. My bag was 69 pounds. Everyone's like, what do you have in there? I'm like, I don't know. But like,
I will be prepared.
I will be prepared for every situation.
And then shoes. Shoes.
That's the killer.
Oh,
that's the killer.
Yeah, they take up the most room.
No, the most room and they're the heaviest.
Yeah.
But you know what? No regrets. I'm fine with that.
I bought a suede bag for the first time in a while this year. And it's rain. Like every time I tried to take it anywhere, it was raining. And I'm like, okay, this is not okay.
So you have like 2 weeks in July where you can wear that.
I'm like, I jinxed the weather. Eman, I know you were talking about repurposing in fashion and how, denim doesn't go away, but you see a lot of repurposing. And I do love the trends for repurposing and secondhand. And are you seeing that as still continuing to be a thing, especially with everything around like fast fashion and the environment?
Yeah, for sure. People are realizing, the state of the world, honestly. And when you support or attribute to, what's happening and, your money is going towards efforts that you may not agree with, you start to realize, what you're really spending your money on. So, people go back and, start making their own clothes and learn how to sew, just so they can be, reserved, so to speak, and not support of anything, they can't control.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's always been here and it always will be here and will continue to be here. But if you don't know how to make your own clothes, please learn.
Yeah. And do you make your own clothes? I know you do a lot of
I don't make
fashion
all
work.
of my own clothes, but I'm learning to start to get into that realm of making all of my own clothes. But a lot of my friends are designers, so it's easy to just, hey, I want that. Yeah,
your crew that's come in before, you have a lot of creative people you surround yourself with. It
For sure.
I especially for a lot of the fashion runway stuff that seemed to be a focus.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that. And I do love vintage clothes too, not to be like, but they're made so much better. I mean, if you look at vintage clothing, it's just
because
better
it's what
quality.
people actually wore.
Yeah.
It's what people actually wore. So like when you're going to Vintage rather than, a Macy's or a JCPenney, like you're going to some place that someone actually wore those clothes. So it's good clothes and it's stylish clothes rather than clothes that they try to push out that may hit.
Oh.
But the thrift stores is what would actually hit. But then people, grow out of size with it or, may not feel it anymore. But those are what people actually wore. That's why people go towards it now.
Oh, I never thought of it that way because a lot of the fast fashion stuff is like, they're throwing spaghetti at the wall again. Alexa.
There you go.
Exactly.
To see what we'll take. Wow, I've learned so much today. This is why I love group chat. And guess what? Guys, we did it. We didn't touch the donuts.
Okay, you guys can all go on Squid Game now.
We all win. We're all going on Squid.
I'm getting one as soon as y'all click that.
That's what we win, is a chance to die on Squid Game.
So plans for the weekend now that we're into June.
That's a great question.
How many spin classes are you doing, Alexa?
Many, and hot yoga. She killed us last week in hot yoga. I left there. I had mascara running down my face. I was crying. I was like, Sherry, what did you do to me?
See, that's when you need to post on social media.
I did post it. I tagged her in it. I was like, Sherry killed it so bad that I am crying, I guess. I don't know what happened in there. Have to start my weekend every weekend. Friday morning, circuit. Saturday morning, hot yoga. It just goes. And you know what? You still haven't come.
I know. I was going to say, you always inspired me. Last time you were on,
still haven't come.
I'm doing it. And I'm not eating the donuts, even though I can smell them now.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, you're going to hold me to it. I'm supposed to go camping this weekend, but again, I booked this in January. Like June will be good because I was like, I need to get into nature. I need to
suede purse.
That suede purse. I had like a New Year's resolution that I needed to make sure like I get out in nature more again, and so I booked a camping trip. I'm like, not going to do Memorial Day weekend because I know it's going to rain. So first weekend in June, that'll be fine, right? Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know. If it's raining, I'm not doing it. I'm not that hardcore. If it rains, no.
If it rains, you're coming to yoga.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Like, okay. All right. Deal.
Okay.
How about you, Eman?
This weekend is very busy. Saturday, I'm going on tour with Jay Skis, who's a drum work artist.
Wow.
To do, some video work for him. And then Sunday, we're actually starting to shoot our documentary. Yeah, it's playing at the next black carpet.
Ah, where? Okay,
cool.
So where are you shooting it in Buffalo?
Yeah, we're shooting in Buffalo.
And when is that? When do we get to see that? Hopeful.
I can't tell you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have you on again. So.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. I always want to know more about your projects. Yay. All right, Matt. What about you?
I actually have a pretty relaxing weekend, which I feel I deserve. I have been going out of town like every weekend to Cleveland or Detroit or Toronto, and I have nothing going on this weekend. Then the weekend after, I'm going back to Cleveland, then Detroit again. Just a lot of shows. So I'm just going to try and do stuff around the house, do some laundry, exciting stuff like that.
You hope you can mow if it doesn't rain.
Yeah, true.
Rain.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about their lawns. Too.
Yeah.
It's like, welcome to Buffalo.
Yes.
Well, that wraps up today's episode of Group Chat for now. If you want to continue the conversation, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BTPMNPR. Also, check us out on the video podcast on Buffalo Toronto Public Media's YouTube. And if you appreciate this content, that we are here with you and we are actual people and we're having real discussions, make sure you sign up for Protect My Public Media. You can go to protectmypublicmedia.org to learn more and to get information. I'd like to thank my guests Alexa Zappia, Eman Wajed, and Matt Hitch. I'm your host, Bentley. Have a great weekend and thanks for listening.